Well, happy birthday, America. We done turned 244 years old. So I got a little all-American history lesson for y'all. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with the details of the American Revolution. I'm sure you learned all there is to know about that between naps in history class, right? But did you know there was another revolution going on back then? Yeah, it was just getting started. It was called the Industrial Revolution. So after the war, there was this real big push to get people and materials all moving around the country all snappy-like and expanding westward. This created a huge demand for something America had never seen before, the American Railroad. And I don't reckon the Industrial Revolution would have even been possible if it wasn't for the railroad making Carnegie and Rockefeller and Vanderbilt all mega super multi-bazillionaires and going hog wild and creating jobs and stimulating the economy. It just couldn't happen. So some of the many jobs that they created were building the railroad. You know, it didn't build itself. So let me tell you something. Laying tracks and driving steel weren't for sissies. This was powerful hard work. And it took some hard-working men to get it done. But there was these people in Scotland and some Frenchies that devised this contraption called the steam hammer. And they figured, you know, this would make the bigwigs and the fat cats happy because it could do it cheaper and faster than a grown man. But, you know, old John Henry up in West Virginia, he thought otherwise. You heard about him? When John Henry was a little baby, he was sitting on his mammy's knee. Well, he stuck out his hand and he grabbed a piece of steel. Said, it's gonna be the death of me, Lord, Lord. Gonna be the death of me. John Henry said to his captain, Captain, I want to hear you sing. I'll swing 49 pounds from my hips on down, 'cause I'd like to hear that cold steel ring, Lord, Lord. Like to hear that cold steel ring. John Henry went down to the tunnel. Steam hammer was by his side. Well, he beat that drill to the end of the tunnel. Laid down his hammer and he cried, Lord, Lord. Laid down his hammer and he cried. Now, ladies, you're really going to like this next part. Okay? John Henry had a little woman, and her name was Polly Ann. John Henry got sick, and he had to go to bed. Polly drove that steel just like a man, she did it better than that. Polly drove that steel just like a woman. John Henry drove steel on that mountain, till his hammer would have caught on fire. And the last words we heard old John Henry say, cool drink of water before I die, Lord, Lord. Cool drink of water before I die. Well, they took John Henry to that graveyard, stuck him 6 feet under the sand. And every time the freight train would go puffing by, they'd say, there lies the steel driving man. Yonder lies that steel driving man. Well, Mr. John Henry, they say you're a classic American folk hero, and I believe it. But I'm not sure whether it was the beating the steam hammer or whether it was the bringing together so many American musicians of diverse backgrounds and variable genres to sing your story. Now, this list is, of course, nowhere near comprehensive, but it's more people than I can remember. But I'm sure some of you have heard of bluegrass musicians Bill Monroe and the Stanley Brothers and Foggy Mountain Boys, who have sung This Story, or country stars Tennessee Ernie Ford, Johnny Horton, Johnny Cash. Paul Robeson is a gospel musician, and I'm sure you've all heard of Mr. Bob Dylan, a folk musician, along with Gillian Welsh and the Old Crow Medicine Show. Woody Guthrie have recorded this song. Blues, there's all kinds of blues musicians that sing this and recorded this song. Mississippi John Hurt, Josh White, Mississippi Fred McDowell, Big Bill Broomsey, and Furry Lewis, and Leadbelly, to name a few. And then, goodness gracious, Great Balls of Jerry Lee Lewis has recorded this song, and Bruce Springsteen, and would you believe it, Van Morrison has this track, and so many others. So, on behalf of Mr. John Henry and all those who have sang his story, happy Independence Day.